Hopefully we can record this before the cicadas get louder, because they are out and they are definitely saying good morning and they definitely want us to know that they're here. But yeah, let's do it before they record the video for us. What's going on, everybody? My name is Kyle and welcome to Modern Karma. In today's video, we're going to be talking about a term that I talked about a couple of times in my last video. Feel free to give that a watch. Something that is very dear to me, something that I utilize every single day. That term is spiritual vulnerability. In this video, we're going to be talking about what it is, why it's so important, benefits of such, and ways that you can incorporate it into your own life, and of course ways that I incorporate spiritual vulnerability on a daily basis. So what is spiritual vulnerability? Spiritual vulnerability is the unveiling process of acknowledging, confronting, and accepting through a continuous cycle of knowing one's self. Through that process, we're using an underlining focus of complete raw honesty to look at the way that we see emotions, insecurities, identity, stress, and even simply our past. By working through how we feel and see every single one of those processes, we're able to know what it means to be ourselves. What we're doing in that time is essentially reverse engineering the self in order to know the self. Benefits of spiritual vulnerability are amazing. They're beautiful and they're extremely impactful and influential. One benefit is better relationships, whether that be knowing what is needed from a relationship or healing and or improving from relationships that we currently have. Being vulnerable with ourselves allows for us to be vulnerable with others. When we utilize vulnerability as an aspect of understanding self and trusting self, we learn to trust others and we learn to build with others. Another benefit is increase in intention, and some others might say an increase in confidence and self-esteem. You are able to understand why it is that you do what you do. Another benefit is destroying insecurities, fears, and doubts. This is a practice that is going to take continuous time, effort, patience, and forgiveness. That's what it is. Through spiritual vulnerability, we look at the severity of our trauma, of our experiences, of our insecurities or fears. We recognize that it may not have that much of an impact on us, or it may not be that serious to us than we actually recognize. Another benefit is simply success. When you understand where you're coming from, you're bound to be successful because you understand that there is no cap on your potential. Therefore, you are limitless in your expression to the rest of the world. We've talked about what it is, why it's so important, the benefits of such, but we haven't talked about how to incorporate spiritual vulnerability slightly into your life now. One, by understanding or asking yourself why. Why it is that you believe the way that you believe, or why you see the world from this perspective, why you have this emotion rather than other emotions. Another way to incorporate spiritual vulnerability into your life is through apologizing, and not apologizing just to say I'm sorry, but apologizing with intention for your half of your wrongdoing. And that does not have to say that you're putting the blame on you or you're making an excuse for another person. What it is saying is that acknowledging to another person that you are not perfect. Apologizing allows for us to not just trust ourselves, but allows for us to trust others. Another way of incorporating spiritual vulnerability into your life is understanding the judgment of yourself and your judgment onto others. How you see yourself and how you see the rest of the world is probably one of the most underlining premises of spiritual vulnerability. When you sit with those thoughts and have that internal conversation, you're able to come up with some answers that really would explain why it is that you see you or why you see others in the way that you do. And another way that I love to incorporate spiritual vulnerability into my life is through meditating. By taking that opportunity to be patient, to be forgiving, to be loving, and to be kind, you are able to do some magnificent and very powerful things. You're able to establish and build on that relationship with yourself in order to understand yourself. Now, I said that I would share ways that I incorporate spiritual vulnerability in my life. I didn't even think about it when I first started the video, but those couple ways that I said incorporating it are ways that I incorporate spiritual vulnerability. But there is one more last thing that I would like to share of really going deep into the essence of spiritual vulnerability is through going to therapy. Now, there's a lot of different connotations or understandings or interpretations of what it means to go to therapy, but I highly recommend it for anybody. It doesn't mean that there has to be necessarily something wrong with you or you have to be going through this traumatic experience. The truth is that we've all been through some fucked up shit in our lives, and it takes time to let go of those things in order to build upon it. By having a therapist, by simply having a non-biased or unbiased person to talk to, we allow for ourselves to open up. We allow for ourselves to learn ourselves. We allow for ourselves to be ourselves. And I promise you that you will greatly benefit from it if you take the opportunity to be honest with yourself by being honest with another person. And this doesn't matter how old you are or how young you are. The point of the fact is that we all have something that is on our back. And whether we think that we got rid of it or not, there's most likely a very, very good chance that it's still there. It can simply mean that you want to be a better you. If you enjoyed today's video, please give me a thumbs up. Feel free to comment below, subscribe, share with friends, whomever. That's Loud Cicada. That's exactly why I wanted to go ahead and get this video recorded before they come out. They get so loud like in the mornings. I hope that you were able to just get a slight summary of what it means to be spiritually vulnerable. I appreciate and love every single one of you. Have an awesome day, be impactful, and remember to be your best friend and your devil's advocate in order to know the best you for others. Deuces, be awesome, be great. Kyle, this is Modern Karma. We out, baby.